Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. In today's video, I wanted to talk about my experience with the Gravitas carbon fiber piston fountain pen. I bought this pen, well, spoiler alert, this is not the original. I had to get a replacement, hence the need for this video. The only videos that I've really seen on this pen, and I may have missed some, are the ones where Emmy and Ben from Gravitas are talking about it, or like first impressions from people that received the pen, free of charge. I bought the original at the the Washington D.C. Pen Show last August. That's pretty much why I went. I knew I wanted to get a Gravitas pen, and I was also looking at the Novelor Eclipse, but they were sold out. But Ben Walsh's table was one of the first tables that I saw, and I was very excited because, like I said, that was why I wanted to go, mainly was to get a Gravitas pen. I've had Gravitas pens prior to that in my cart, in and out of my cart multiple times, but just never pulled the plug on it. So I was very happy to see him, and he's very nice guy. And then I saw this pen, and I was like, I have to, well, not this pen, but the one that was replaced. And I have to have that pen. The looks are just right up my alley. The previous pen's a little different from this. Some little minor differences in that version. The version that I got at the Washington D.C. Pen Show was a prototype, and at that time it was $300. This version that they're selling now, it's a limited edition to $550, I think, and it's now like 350, 360 euros. I'm going to go to the website and show you. So what happened with the other pen? I did have a haul video after I came back from the DC Pen Show, where I showed this and a couple other things that I bought. What I did is I'm not sure if I inked it in that video or just dip tested it with this Wearingeul George Orwell, and I was immediately in love with the pen and the ink combination. So if I didn't ink it there, I'm pretty sure that I inked it soon after. I just thought they went together really well, and you can see the 1984 has shimmer in it. So I was very pleased with the way the nib felt. Ben actually tuned it at his table. And this is what it came with. It came with this. And it came with a nice pouch, nice Gravitas pouch. There's Gravitas pens. And a sticker. And a little field notes book. And he also gave me a loop that I put in with my repair supplies and a Gravitas tote bag. So this is the field notes book. Nothing else in there. Very nice. And he also, he did tune the nib a little bit. I saw him using a polishing cloth type of a material. Actually, it's a material that I use, or a lot of people use, that play guitar on their frets to smooth them out. So the nib wrote excellent. I mean, I was totally in love with the pen, as you can see in the first impressions video. But I would say about a month and a half to 2 months later, around October, early October, I started noticing some ink on my fingers when I would go to write. So I just figured that the nib was leaking, no big deal. It happens a lot. And it kept getting worse and worse. So I said I would just, reseat the nib and maybe put some silicone around it to stop it from leaking. And about, I would say, early November, and I've been carrying this in my case with other pens for about, since I got it in August, so a full 3 months or so. But this time when I went to write with it, I noticed ink was getting kind of higher up on my hands. So I just see what was going on, and unfortunately there was a crack developing in this material, and the ink was kind of dripping down. So I was pretty upset about it, but knowing me as usual, I said I could probably put some super glue on that, because it was, at the time, it was a tiny crack. But then I decided to just put it away and not super glue it like I normally do, just to see, just to give it some rest. And it was around the holidays, so I said I'll wait after the holidays and figure out what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to put it away in my case, my glass case, and come back to it after the holidays, and I'll decide if I'm going to fix it myself or if I'm going to send it away. It's a good thing I didn't bother it, because when I go back in January, this is what I see. I'm going to move over to my laptop and show you the pictures. So here's what I see when I pull it out of the case, thinking that I'm going to fix it on my own. Either I'm going to resin it, or I was going to put some super glue on it, but of course I can't, because you see all these fissures here. And then there, I'm just showing them where the actual splits are, so I'm just using a wet wipe there. Same there, and you can see how bad it is right there. It's totally just disintegrating at that point. And there it is, another picture of it. Another, you can see the fibers there. And you can see a little crack or tool mark also in the cap. And that's just the back and forth. So I'm going to start from the beginning to Gravitas using their contact form. And they got back to me pretty quickly. There was never any issue with communication or anything. So I just explained that I bought that pen from the Washington, D.C. pen show, and that it was leaking, and the carbon fiber was cracking, and that I had photos if they wanted to see them. And so, yeah, they responded right back, please send us some pictures, and they asked me if I dropped it or set on it or anything. I've only dropped 2 fountain pens. I dropped this Opus 88 demonstrator. I have carpet, so it fell on the carpet, but I was pretty nervous because I had this extended out so the ink will flow down. The shut-off valve was extended out a little bit, but luckily it didn't break or anything. And I also dropped a Conklin Durograph Savoy, and unfortunately the cap band broke on that one, but fortunately it broke in a very convenient spot, so I was able to super glue that. But no, I never dropped this or set on it or, stepped on it or anything. And they explained that the only way the ink can get through is if the inner tube is ruptured. And the only way that you can rupture the inner barrel is by dropping the pen from a considerable height or putting something heavy on the pen. And they said they test these by over-tightening them, dropping them, and throwing them, none of which I've done. When I carried it, I did carry it for a while every day in a pen case with some other pens, but no dropping or anything like that. I'm sending them the pictures and explaining what I just told you. I've never set on it or dropped it. You can see the carbon fiber just shearing off. So my thought, when I first saw this pen, this is going to last forever. Carbon fiber is so durable. They make cars out of carbon fiber. But the thing is that I didn't take into account is that, once you break it or once you rupture it, it's done for. It just shears off and just threads. And there you see that. And there's the cap. There's a little, I guess this may have always been there. but that's how the cap looked. So this is the response back. We forwarded the email to Ben Wash. I'm assuming this is Emmy because Emmy takes over the conversation later. He said this is a warranty / flawed material, and they're gonna pick it up via DHL and send me a new one. And this comment here, sorry for the outcome, is a part of the process, and we would like to understand what went wrong and get our process and products improved with feedback from this event. And I think if it kind of stopped here, that this video will probably be half as long as it is. I responded back with my information, and I say it's an excellent pen. I'm sad to see it go, but considering the complexity of the material and production process, it's understandable that things like this happen. And I truly believe that, because I've seen Ben talk about how many tools that he broke in the process, how many pens failed. So I'm assuming maybe, you think about it, 1 out of 3 may fail, 1 out of 5. That's a lot of lost income. That's a lot of frustration. I respect the fact that this, this pen, it wasn't an easy pen to make. And I appreciate that. And that's one of the reasons why, I love this pen. But I think the experience of, they were very gracious, I would say, but I just didn't like their last response. And Emmy going back and forth, I was asking him if he wanted me to clean the pen out, and he did. He wanted me to clean it. And so here is where, I'll just go into it. This is from Emmy. Hello, we received the faulty pen today. We had to take the pen apart, and we found that the inner acrylic tube had a crack, and that leaked into the carbon fiber. They swapped it, and of course they gave me a new one. And this is it. Please make sure you use safe inks. We found that the ink that you use in the pen is a sheeny ink, which weakens the inner acrylic tube and made it fail. We will make sure to include in our warranty information that Gravitas pens, all Gravitas pens, not just this one, are not meant to be used with inks that are advertised as being sheening, shimmering, pigment-based, permanent, or any combination of the 2 or more of these. Internal parts can fail due to these inks, and elements that normally can structurally damage or wear parts or coatings that we use for our pens. Enjoy the new Gravitas piston, and make sure to use normal inks. Normal inks. Because with this experience, it can repeat if similar inks are used. And I received this replacement before they got mine. So what did I put in here? I put another shimmer ink. I put Diamond Good Tidings or Glad Tidings or whatever it is. And so my response, I go on. And he said, the problem originated in the ink window portion at one of the joints where the sheeny ink particles formed like a cloth and a small lip and made the joint weak where it failed internally. And here's my response. Thanks for letting me know. I was using Wear and Gould George Orwell 1984 in the pen. I'll use ornament in it from now on. Good to know. And this is my thing. Include that warning in the listings as well, not just the warranty, right? I said I plan on buying the pocket version of that pen also. I really love the looks of these pens, and I said I was gonna review this, which is what I'm doing. So I put in Waterman Inspired Blue, which is, a very safe ink. Waterman inks are known to be pretty safe. This is where I really get kind of in a huff. Not in a huff, but I'm kind of no nonsense. I'm pretty plain spoken. I said I was going to take the blame, you know. I'll acknowledge that I use shimmering ink. But at the same time, I need to go to Gravitas Pens and see where they say not to use shimmering ink. And there's nothing on the front page. See, when you buy, say, a Mont Blanc, and you buy a Sailor, they state right up front, only use Mont Blanc and Sailor inks. So here's it's 350 euros. Nothing here about not using shimmering inks. Let's see here, anything here? Featuring an ink window. Nothing. A lot of very good reviews, and it is an excellent pen. Excellent, excellent pen. So, specifications. Do a Control F. Maybe there's a shimmer or sheen. Nothing here on the page, so I'm not missing anything. So maybe it's in the warranty. Gravitas Venture Group. This warranty does not cover. This warranty also does not cover damage that is caused by the use of improper inks / refills. So, friends, tell me what exactly is improper inks / refills. I know that you're not supposed to use, say, dip pen ink. But again, I think this should have been spelled out. And I don't think, I think that just leaves too much room for interpretation. Yes, shimmer inks are known to clog up pens, right? But I've never known them to damage the structural integrity of a pen. So that's Gravitas. So there is that in the warranty. Don't use improper inks. So we go to Pen Venture, and maybe they have something. And remember, this is not just for the carbon piston pen. This is for all Gravitas pens. Why did 5040T come up? So it's Gravitas. Let's see if I can find mine. It's a beautiful pen. See what they say. Read more. Pretty much the same. Return policy. 15 days. So they were very good to help me out. Exchanges. We'll replace items only if they're defective or damaged within our available stock. So let me see if there's a shimmer. No shimmer. Sheen. No sheen. want to read through all that, so I'm just going to do ink. Nothing about ink on this one. No shimmer. So there's nothing here that says either about not using shimmer or sheening inks. And again, you see very positive reviews. I think I've only seen one negative review, and I'll show you the negative review. It says mix. Put Jeffrey's name on it. I wish I could give this pen a better review, but there's some components in the pen that given this price should not be there. And this person is complaining about the fact that it's using a steel nib. I mean, I disagree with that complaint because, like I said, of all the R&D that went into it and all the broken tools and everything. But he's right to have his opinion. And he also mentions that one thing I found problematic was that the carbon body had a rough spot and that it's inherent in the carbon fiber. It seems like there's almost a splintering in the component. So this is one out of, I guess there are about there are 10 reviews here and probably about 15 here. So 25 reviews on those 11, so it's 22 reviews, 1 out of 22, that's not bad. But I just wanted to show that there's another person that was having issues with the splintering as well. And so this person, Dapper Man, also got one of the prototypes. And you can see Dapper Man was very happy with this pen, but you can see there's some cracks there in this cap. Cracks there. The same with mine, just a little bit of maybe tool marks or something. So that's what you're getting. Right now I'm very careful with this pen. I don't put it in the case with all my other pens. I keep it in here. I keep it in a Galen leather case, totally separate. And there hasn't been any issues to date with this pen. I can show you this up close, so show you some up close views. There are a couple tool marks on it, but all in all, not bad. So let me see if I can get this in focus. So you can see I have the same kind of a tool mark there on the cap. A little bit there. Again, this goes in. This is untreated material. And here's the body. It looks like a rough surface, but it feels very good in the hand. So you can see all throughout their little indentations, and there's a tool mark up here somewhere. There's a tool mark. There's the ink window, but it is what it is. They did replace this. This piece here used to be carbon fiber as well, but because it was so small, it was hard to get that to not break in the production process, so they switched it here. Feet is supposed to be ebonite. Lovely ink window. And unlike the prototype, this one has the Gravitas logo on it. And there's also a number up here somewhere, but it's very hard to see. So let's get to the pen. It is a beautiful writer. Gravitas carbon fiber piston. This has a number 8 fine steel nib. It's a beautiful writer. And it works well in reverse. So here you can see my, let me zoom in, you can see my Waterman. The Waterman inspired blue does have a little bit of sheening, not sheening, shading, has some red shading to it, but Waterman inks are known to be safe, so I do feel very comfortable with this ink in it. And like I said before, I do really love this pen. And sometimes experiences like these are, are worth the hassle is worth it in the end. So all in all, very long video, but I thought it was very important to share with anyone that's thinking about this pen. By all means, I recommend it. It's a beautiful pen, very comfortable to write with. Just make sure when you buy it to use safe inks in it, whatever safe inks are. Typically, I think Waterman are considered safe. Some Pelicans are also considered safe. Maybe Mont Blanc inks, but definitely don't use any shimmer inks, at least for the sake of your warranty. Now, I will say that this made of acrylic, no issues, but I have like Waterman, I have Auto Oud Red Roses and some purple ink in here, or some blue ink, Leonardo Blue. Leonardo Blue is has a red shading to it. But this one, also made of acrylic, has diamond spruce in it, and spruce is a heavy has sheen in it, and it's a pretty viscous ink. It's probably not something that you would consider safe. As you can see there, as you can see all the sheen there. But there's no, there's no cracking in this, despite the shading or the sheening ink. There is no cracks anywhere near this acrylic, and the inner tube in here is supposed to be acrylic. Another acrylic body pen, and this actually has shimmer in it, shimmer that I made on my own, so it's probably even less safe using this mica powder. So I have this mica powder. You see that? This mica powder and some ancient copper in this Moonman acrylic pen. And again, there's no cracking, no splintering. And here on my fingers what the shimmer looks like. And so this is what, it's basically makeup powder, right? I guess it could happen, I don't know. But if that's the case, you need to state that up front so your customers know, because we love our sheening, shimmering inks. So I really do believe, and that's my main gripe here, is that that needs to be stated up front. For a pen of this price, 350 euros. I paid, like I said, I paid $300 for my prototype. it definitely needs to be stated up front. And the replacement came with this box. And again, so you can see, there's nothing here about using safe inks. So although I said I'd take the L on that for using this shimmer, I don't think I should have, because it should be stated up front. Otherwise, I just call BS on the whole don't use shimmering, shading permanent inks in our Gravitas pens. But again, that's the Gravitas carbon fiber piston pen. A lovely pen, and I do love it. Despite my rambles here, I do love it, but it's very important. I stated probably in one of my early videos that the point of this channel was not to brag about my pens. It was to share my experience and to help you not make some mistakes that I do. And that was the main point of this long video. There are no other videos that discuss this issue that I had. And fortunately, I'm hoping it's because no one else had this issue. But it's very important that you know this. Money, I mean, we all work hard for our money, so you don't want to put it towards something that's going to just totally fall apart on you, especially something that you grow attached to. So that's all I had to say. Gravitas carbon fiber piston pen, I love it. I'd recommend it, but just be careful with it. And I also, you know, like I said, I keep it in this Galen leather just so it's not bouncing up, and so that, you know, none of the carbon fiber is getting, you know, splintered by rubbing up against other pens. So that's what I do. So I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.